Camerae.
Watching Camerae.
Oh my.
On Camerae.
Hello.
Music TV.
Are you listening to me?
So enjoy yourself.
This girl is always
so
singing.
Enjoy yourself.
Hello. Camerae, come on. It's time to start the show.
Oh. We are back in this gig. We are back in this gig. We are back. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Camerae, and I'm back with another episode of this podcast, #JTFIO, or just trying to figure it out. And we are back for another week. I sound a little murky today, right? Because I don't know if it's allergies. I don't know if I'm sick. I was like 80% sure it was allergies. But this morning, I'm leaning on the air of, am I sick? Because I got like body aches going on. But I also have switched up my step count. Before I started teaching, I was doing like 1,500 steps a day. Now I'm up to like 11,000 a day. So I figured maybe this is having a toll on my body. I don't know, child. I don't know. But I do know your girl is sick. So, or allergic. Okay, because that's a thing too out here. I've been popping the Zyrtex. I've been putting the little sniffer things up my nose, trying to stay hydrated, trying to do all the things. But plus, I noticed that I do consume a lot of diuretics. I drink a lot of coffee, which really it's just 1 cup, but it's 1 cup every day. So that's a lot to me. And I always crave a Coke, especially around that time at 2 p.m. I try to drink a Diet Coke, but yesterday it was a regular Coke, right? So I'm kind of drying myself out too, also in the process of doing that, which is not good. So yeah, that's where we're at immune-wise. But welcome to my podcast. Welcome. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and follow or subscribe or download these episodes, whatever you need to do so that you stay connected with us. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all at Camerae Music TV, or you can follow the brand or the IG specifically for the podcast at JTFIO Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, today is September 11th, so we do want to take some time to remember those who lost their life in the tragedy that was the plane crashing into the Twin Towers at the World Trade Center in New York in, I believe, 2001, which seems like forever ago. So just sometime today, just make sure you guys remember those who lost their life, remember those families, remember those service members who were out there helping. It was tragic. I still remember being in 7th grade in Miss Davis' class, and then it happening, and then she turned on the news, and we're just watching the replay, and as we were watching, the other Twin Tower gets hit, so it was jarring, to say the least. So make sure you guys just take some time to remember that it's not a holiday. It's just a day that we should, observe some type of reverence for those who lost their life. Okay, I also want to make sure I mention our word of the day. Make sure you guys are following that, subscribed, or have save the playlist on YouTube, because I post the word of the day every day. We have changed our schedule to Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. and Saturday, Sunday, and holidays at 1 p.m. It's just gonna work better with my new schedule. But yeah, make sure you guys are all tuned in. So we got church announcements out of the way. So let's get on to our subject, right? So I wanted to talk to you guys about intersectionality today. It seems to be something that a lot of people cannot grasp. A lot of people can't chew gum and walk at the same time. So they just expect others to not be able to do this, right? So first of all, intersectionality is defined as a branch of feminism asserting how different aspects of social and political identity discrimination overlap. For example, race with gender, And I'm getting this from Wikipedia, such a credible source, right? But such like race with gender, or your class with your gender, or your sexual orientation or your sexual preference with your sexual preference with your race. All these different things that make us one, that make up one person. I always like to say that you as a person, you are comprised of lots of different things, lots of different avenues. You may be a mother, but you're also a daughter, you're also a sister, you're also a cousin, you're also an aunt, you're also a friend. You may be a personal trainer, but you're also a usher at the church. You're also a woman. You're also a black woman. You're also a black gay woman. You have all these different intersections that you are. You're pretty much at a 4-way stop when you look at it. So when people try to put you in a box, it's annoying to me and it's frustrating to me, because it's like, there's so many things that everyone has to offer on all different avenues. And once we start to tap into that, it's super exciting. So for example, I'm black first. I'm a woman next. Some would say I'm a woman first, then I'm black. But in most cases, I feel like I'm black first. I'm a woman next. I'm a veteran next. I'm a wife next. I'm a big sister next. I'm a daughter next, granddaughter next, friend next. Then you just kind of keep going down the line, right? There's different experiences that I have as a black person, as a black woman, as a black female veteran, than a white male veteran might have, than a black male veteran might have, than even a white female veteran might have. So that's what I mean by intersectionality. And so when you fully tap into your potential, when you fully tap into your purpose, you realize that you should explore these avenues and utilize them to hone in your craft. So because I know that I'm a black female veteran, then my walk, my talk exudes that, if that makes sense. It's like my secret power, my secret power, my special power is that I have all these things that make me a big melting pot that makes me, and I utilize those to reach out and teach. So whereas you, on the other hand, you may have been born in a different country, you may be able to speak a different language, you may be a basketball player, a soccer player, and you're also a woman, and you're also identify as bisexual, or you also identify as trans, and then you're also a Christian. Like all these different avenues that you identify with, but you also because you identify with all those, you are a part of all those communities. Am I making sense? So I think I've honed in on the importance of that, right? It's really important to recognize all of those things that make up you, because if you don't know, then how can you use it? One thing that really frustrates me is when I see a person and they're just kind of just one level playing field, that's it. They don't realize that they have this, that over there, this under there, this on top of there to offer, because no one has taken the time to encourage or nurture these attributes, these characteristics that the person has. And so then they have to go through life and explore and find those things about them, which is exciting, because if you know, like I know, finding a treasure or finding extra $5 in your pocket or anything like that you weren't expecting is always exciting. But when you can be revealed that early, then you kind of have a leg up on things, because you realize what you have a whole lot earlier. That's like kids. This is the reason why I love kids. Don't know that I want any myself. I always have to say that, because y'all be like, okay, well, why you ain't got none? But I don't know that I want any myself. But kids, they are fearless. And some kids nowadays, they know what they have. Okay. They know they're black. They know they're a woman. They know they're young. Young is like their most powerful tool. They know all of that. And so they utilize that for their good. They utilize that to get their voice heard, to make change. And that is exciting. It's exciting when you see that, because, in generations before, we just was not doing that. Right? So, I don't like to call anyone stupid or say like you're dumb or anything like that. I just do believe that there's an ignorance there in understanding what intersectionality is. And some people try to act like it doesn't exist. When we're having these conversations about Black women's hair in the workplace, and then any other race tries to identify with, what's going down with that, you cannot really identify, because your hair is the standard, right? Which is a whole nother subject for another day. But in most cases, the blonde, straight hair is the standard. So if you have red hair, if you have really curly hair, or if you have like my type of hair, if you have really thick, long hair, you have to learn how to tame it and bring it from here to here. And if you can't see me, it's from bigger to bone straight. And because that's what's more professional, that's what's more appeasable, right? So when we have these conversations about a Black woman having to conform and fit into this box, the woman may be able to identify, because women know, being in the mirror, having all these products to do your hair. But the Black woman may be the only person that can fully say what it's like to have to try to fit your 4C hair or 4B hair into this this idea of how we're supposed to be. That's the same with maybe like an Asian woman. Okay. Asian women have the experience as a woman. They have the experience as an Asian woman. They have the experience as an Asian. I do everything from a Black experience, obviously, because I'm Black. But I think if you really think about this in terms of you, in terms of self, and how many different avenues, how many different roles you play, you're a student, you're a teacher, you're a preacher, you're a mother, and in all these different realms, you have issues, you have triumphs, you have struggles, and somehow you have learned how to maneuver through them based on your experiences or based on what you've seen. So how do you teach that? How do you teach that to those coming up behind you who may, when they first get hit with that realization that, oh, I am Black. So I didn't even really think, a lot of us grow up knowing our race, but it doesn't really hit you until you face something derogatory. Like when I had my first job and I knew I was Black, I knew that there weren't many Black people that worked at my job. None of it really bothered me until I had to deal with two people that came in and said that the plates were dirty because I touched them to seat them as a hostess. And they told the manager that the plates were dirty because I touched them and I'm Black. That's when it kind of hit me and I realized, oh, I am Black. Okay. And it wasn't the Black that I was used to being, like, I'm proud to be Black, proud to have this chocolate skin, the way that it's so welcome today. It was more like, wow, I'm Black. Like, dang. And then the woman thing, you realize you're a woman every month, every about 21 days when you're cramping and you want chocolate and you want people to leave you alone and cuddle you all at the same time. So that was an early realization for me. A veteran, obviously that's new for me, but I grew up in a military household, a big sister. I've always been a big sister, but that changes as time goes. You become the big sister, the one who almost serves as a second parent, watching the siblings and having all these responsibilities and coming home and, making sure everything's going right when mom is away. And then when you get older, you're kind of like the one who reaches back and gives advice based on your wild experiences that you've had. And then as you get married, you go off and get married, then you kind of become another different, another type of older sister, right? So But in all these different hats, I have learned they're my power. These are my this is the genetic makeup of Camerae. And if you take a minute to just think about that and what that means in your life, what you do and how you do it, and who you've become, how it's been shaped by the different hats and different roles that you feel, right? Intersectionality is something that I learned about maybe about 5 years ago when I was still studying to get my bachelor's. But I was doing a paper on it because I was in a some type of communication class, obviously, because that's my major. But they were asking about the theory of intersectionality, and did I feel like there was any validity to it? And I do, because because it seems like it's the overlap of various social identities. Not seems like, that's what it is, but it's when it's pertaining to oppression. So, obviously I use it in different contexts to where I always try to be positive. If I have all these different things going on, although they do contribute to systemic oppression, and, the black woman this, the darker skinned black woman this, the black woman veteran this, the black person this, all of that, I do try to focus it more on a positive thing where I have all these things that should be odds stacked against me, but I utilize them as powers, if that makes sense. So I really want you guys to understand what intersectionality means. It is when it's related to systemic oppression, right? So let me give you another example. If, we have this big thing right now where, I guess as a country, we're trying to better understand each other and what each other go through. In most cases, white people don't really understand what a black person has to really truly deal with. They don't get to talk about the police growing up. We do. You don't get to talk about your hair and, taming it. Now, this is not all white people, because I have some good close white friends that I know probably have gotten this talk, or, by now have educated themselves on all these dealings. But in most cases, how you grow up in your house, we're not even going to harp on the race thing. How you grow up in your house is totally different from how someone else grows up in their house. With the black experience, most of us grow up the same way, always having to clean it up, make it neat, make this person comfortable so that they are not threatened by your experience or your whole entire being. So a lot of times you don't spend time speaking up, saying how you feel. You try to be polite, you try to smile, you try to ignore issues, you try not to be confrontational, all of that, until you realize, like today, that's not really fair. And because you were born black, which you couldn't change, you were born as a woman, which you couldn't change, you've been molded into something that society wants you to be, or that we've been convinced that this is what's okay for them, then you've kind of muted a lot of the things that make you powerful. So now, instead of taking the time to learn about your blackness and your culture and educate those around you, and learn about the white culture, because, a lot of us think that, white people just didn't come from anywhere, but some white people have European, German, there's different, and obviously Germany is in Europe, y'all got it, but there's different cultures that everyone comes with. No one is just straight American. Like, our ancestors come from all over the place. So we all deal with intersectionality. It's just the minorities of this country have been pushed down, stepped on, enslaved, everything you can think of. And it's like, we just want to be equal. Then we can talk about the rest. We are still fighting to be equal, just to get what you get, and not have racism showed towards us. Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Anytime you're of a different race and you are a woman, you're not only going to experience racism, you're also going to experience sexism. Depending on your pay, you may experience classism. There's a lot of things that occur that make one big mess. But what I'm saying is flip it. These things that were set up to oppress us, start to utilize them as your power. Start to utilize them as your power. Okay, so this was a short episode this week. But I want to talk about intersectionality because it is set up to be like oppression. It is set up to be something that is like against us and kind of put us in this position to where we have these odds stacked against us. But it's like, if you can't change them, if you came in this world as that, then you should learn with anything in life. You should learn to see the positive. You should learn to flip it. Life is truly about using your experiences to get you places, to excel you and propel you in life, to reach other people, to tie them to different things, to make connections and network, all of that. Life, that's what life is about. So the minute you start experiencing things and looking at them as negative and putting yourself down and making it seem like, you're just not worthy because you went through ABC, you have done it wrong. You truly have. I'm here to tell you that all these things that are stacked against you can be flipped. So just like yesterday, I was talking to my students. They were watching a video about a kid who thought she was talking to another girl online. Turns out it's a pedophile, right? And so there's all this suspense because the girl is giving away her address, saying her parents aren't home. And the guy, he comes over, he's walking up the driveway. The music's getting intense. The kids are like, "Oh my gosh, Miss Barton," like they're going crazy, right? And then it just ends. So I asked the kids, like, what do you think happened? A lot of them was like, she gets kidnapped, she dies, she this, she that. So I was like, well, what if the guy was her dad somewhere else, playing a trick on her? Like, let me see if my kid really knows what to do in a situation like this. And everybody was like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. I'm like, y'all got to be more positive, because y'all just, the music, the situation that you saw based on the evidence, you was ready to just make it negative. But I'm telling you, maybe the dad was just like, what's going on? Now that's probably not what happened, but that's why they left us on a cliffhanger so we could decide what happened ourselves, right? But all that to say, life can suck sometimes, and you get these things that you did not ask for. You come into a family where you don't make much money, or where you guys don't have much money. You come into a family where you are the most educated because the people before you sacrificed what they had to build a life for you. Or maybe you come into a family, you have all the money that you need, but you don't have all the attention that you need. Or you come into a family and you hate your dark skin. You hate your freckles, you hate your moles, you hate something about you, right? But there's a community out there. There's communities for everything. I thought I was experiencing at IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, because my stomach would just be hurting, which I still kind of feel like I might sometimes. So I kind of, switched to the more probiotics thing, and I had joined this little community and everybody's talking. We all experiencing the same symptoms, but it just shocked me that I could find a community for just about anything. The planner community, the podcaster community, the female podcaster community, the black female podcaster community, the black female veteran podcaster community, the black female mother. Like, there's something for everything. There literally is. So don't let these people fool you out here, because they will. So that has been your episode for this week. Your challenge for this week is, maybe you can comment down below. Maybe you can, I don't know, because y'all don't be commenting on my stuff. But comment down below. We'll do that. Comment down below what type of intersections you are. If you were standing at a 4-way stop, what streets would all run in and meet at you? I would be a veteran. I'd be black. I'd be a female. I'd be middle class. I think. Yeah. Okay, so I am your host, Camerae. That has been your episode for this week. Make sure you follow and subscribe and download on all platforms. Make sure you guys comment so that I know how you found this podcast, because I really be wanting to know. I'm Camerae. This is Camerae Music TV. This podcast is #JTFIO or just trying to figure it out. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.